Wow, wow. Happy Gay Pride Month. Woo, 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 woo. So, I'm going to immediately go back, Joe and Eric, and tell Lily that you're coming for her guitar. I'm still standing, solidarity forever. What's going on here at CTA? My God. But yay, what a perfect song to choose, Joe, because we are still standing. And that didn't just happen, did it? We got to work. We had those one-on-one conversations. We organized, we rallied, we showed everyone who we are, and they wanted to be part of us. You go, bad CTA. Ha! Didn't just happen. I always have to begin by congratulating the incredible leadership team here at CTA. And of course, we have a new team that's coming in Mr. Toby. Where you at, Toby? There he is. Give him a hand. Yay. And I just talked with him, not that I didn't already know this, but he's the first to say, of course, it's about his entire team. And so I get to use and abuse a new Veep in David. Give it up for David. Yay! And Miss Leslie, is that you? Is that you? Give it up for Leslie. Yay! As you begin this next chapter in CTA's history, I have no doubt that you will be the fierce activists, passionate professionals, and powerful unionists that will actually honor the long tradition of exemplary CTA leaders. And Ms. Teresa, I didn't see her, but I want to thank her as well for the strong and committed leadership that she had for the members of CTA and for the courageous racial justice work that she did on behalf of the NEA. So let's give it up for Teresa, please. Yay. And Mr. Eric Hines. Well. Yeah. That's right. Oh my goodness, we've done some good work together, you and I, right? From accountability to charter schools, we took on some of the most difficult issues and worked to create a vision where all students and all educators and all schools are excelling because their communities and their states and this country is sharing in the responsibility to invest in the success of each and every one of them. Eric has been steadfast in his determination to change what happens for our students and for our schools, and he did it with an unbending will, an unending charm. He epitomizes what servant leadership looks like. And he models how you impact change with both the heart and with the head. Thank you, Eric, for your friendship and for your dedication to our noble cause. I need to tell you in front of your closest friends that I truly enjoyed getting into good trouble with you. Give it up for your CTA president. So, a lot has happened since I stood before you at last State Council, just June of 2018. Joe talked about a lot of stuff. We've been real busy, haven't we, Joe? We've been very busy. And oh my goodness, he mentioned, but I have to say it again, what a gift this past April. Suing Betsy DeVos. You know what? I'm telling you. Listen, you know what? So much crazy and stupid's going on. There's no way we could predict whether we're going to win or not. But let me tell you something. When we took a look at that brief and we saw the National Education Association and CTA versus Betsy DeVos, let me... I mean, really, seriously, I couldn't stop smiling. Oh my God. And then we won. And we didn't just win. The order actually said that Betsy DeVos did something illegal. Really? Really? Something? How sweet was that? Oh my God. Headlines. The NEA and CTA win. They beat back Betsy DeVos. So, we knew that she was doing things immoral and illegal and just plain wrong when she refused to keep enacting the regulations to protect our students. But when we won, and I need you to remember this, that's a win that lets us know, even in this space, even in this time, good and right can win. And I need you to remember that in November 2020. We can win. Also, since I stood before you last year, our educators across this country continued to find their voice and realize that they have power beyond measure. Marches and rallies in North and South Carolina and Maryland and Oregon, tens of thousands of educators and their allies demanding what their students need and deserve. And West Virginia, where it all started, well, they went back to the streets too, didn't they? This time to beat back efforts to privatize public education. Apparently their legislators needed a reminder of how big and bad they were. Yeah, they won again. And then this past Friday, we learned that our local in Prince George's County, Maryland, PGEA, actually was able to negotiate an agreement that restored pay increases that had been skipped since 2008 when the recession hit. I know. And you know how many educators all over this country have endured that since 2008. Our local in Prince George's County, they were able to get 25% increases over the next 3 years. Finally, somebody acknowledged that when the economy came back, they did not share it with us and our schools. Finally. And when I talked to the local president, Teresa Dudley, what she said to me is, Becky, we would not have been able to do this if we hadn't seen this proud Red for Ed movement spread all over this country from West Virginia, and they specifically called out Los Angeles. They told me that when they showed up at the school board meetings and their churches and they were standing in line at the supermarket and they had their Red for Ed t-shirts on, and they knew that people knew they meant business and they weren't backing down. So I am here to say thank you on behalf of our members in Maryland. Thank you. And California, you haven't been doing anything since I've been here, have you? What? Oh my God, you've been showing up and showing out. California, oh my God, 9, did you say? Yeah. What? UTLA, you showed up. Oakland, you showed up. Sacramento, you showed up. New Haven, you showed up. And all the other locals all over this state, you showed up. And Eric, I know you didn't want the rest of your members to be jealous or anything. I knew you didn't want them to feel left out. So you decided to invite thousands of your closest friends to take a little walk down the streets of Sacramento. Did you do that a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, we all did it.
You all did it? Y'all did it? Were you all walking in Sacramento? Yes, you were. You were demanding that lawmakers fix your charter school laws so they could stop the egregious waste and fraud and abuse. You lifted up your voices and you demanded that the chronic underfunding of your public schools that has California of all places, what are you, the fifth largest? Fifth largest economy? How in the world, how can anyone in a position of leadership justify that you are 44th, ranked 44th in this country? There is no excuse for that. So you hit the streets. Of course you did. Now the victories that you've had, you know, are directly related to two things. Collective action is real, and elections matter. They matter. Electing a governor and a superintendent of education and members of the assembly and school board members, it all matters. I was reading where Tony Thurmond supported our educators who were on strike, and we just heard Joe talk about the governor's budget proposal that actually demonstrated his commitment to public education from the cradle to career. But CTA, let me tell you something. You know, electing public education friends is not enough. It's not enough. When I was in Wisconsin campaigning at a community event, a candidate told the voters that he needed them at the polls. Of course he did. But he needed them after they cast their ballots. He needed them to support his bold actions to bring about the kind of justice that they wanted for their students and for their communities. He needed their help as he governed. So we need you to continue to reach out to your communities, to tell your stories about public education and why your great state must invest in the foundation of this democracy. Because those we've elected to govern need our wind at their backs so they can be bold in their actions and their policies so they can do what's right for our students and for our schools. And what we've learned in each of these fights is that we can't be a lone voice. From community to community, allies rose up with us, and they asked us how they could possibly do more. Well, we're working on how to answer that ask. For those of you who are attending the RA in Houston, we are looking to establish a community allies membership for NEA. We hope you will help us send a message loud and clear. We need all, do you hear me? All. Oops. Not that, oh, I made a mess. Talk amongst yourselves.
It's just the parliamentarians.
Did you need that? Oh, okay, I'm going to settle down now.
No water for Becky.
No water for Becky. We need all who believe in our powerful mission that we must unite not just our members, but this entire nation to fulfill the promise of public education for every single student. We need their support. But let me tell you something, CTA. Mostly, we need their power and we need their vote. Because what we've witnessed since November of 2016 does not reflect our highest ideals of fairness and equity, of civility and compassion, of freedom and justice. That's why we need you to engage right now, today, in election 2020. Even though we still have 3,920 Democratic candidates in the race, I think your mother, your brother, your aunt, your cousin, they're all in. Okay. And the dog. Whoever comes out of that cast of thousands will be facing off against Donald Trump. And this I know, if we don't do everything we possibly can between now and November 2020 to reclaim the soul of America, then we will not get the schools our students deserve. We won't get the kind of human treatment we expect from a civilized society. We won't get the dignity and the respect and the justice we are demanding. So if you haven't already begun your love affair with strongpublicschools.org, a one-stop shop where you can compare candidates, ask them questions, connect with activists, and stay engaged, then we need you to begin that love affair right now, today. You know, as he reflected on the University of Virginia's early loss last year, Coach Bennett described it as a painful gift that pushed his team to come back and win the NCAA championship this year, saying, if you learn to use it right, adversity will buy you a ticket to a place you couldn't have gone any other way. I wouldn't call the confirmation of Betsy DeVos a gift, but the pain galvanized educators in a way I don't believe I've seen in my lifetime. I wouldn't call the overt hatred and marginalization of people from the highest office in this land a gift, but it has motivated us to stand up against inhumane treatment and unrivaled injustice. I wouldn't call this steady march toward income inequality a gift, but it is driving us to truly understand the magnitude of our right and our responsibility to vote to protect this democracy. Barriers, you see, can actually catapult you toward your destiny. Our democracy, our responsibility, our time. That is this year's RA theme. We could be talking about any of the issues our members are standing up for right now. It is time this state invested in our students instead of closing schools and siphoning off money for corporate charters. It's time, CTA. It's time educators were valued for the caring and courageous professionals they are, trusted to teach and nurture our children. It's time, CTA. It's time for this country to live up to its promise, for every student to have the right to dream and to live and to thrive. CTA, it's past time. We must stand in unbroken solidarity and fight like our children's lives depend on it. We must raise up our voices until every educator is honored as the professional they are and compensated for the invaluable work they do. We must live our lives as an inspiration for the students we love and the colleagues we lead. We must live our lives as an inspiration so others will join our courageous movement for public education and civic responsibility and decency and justice as the values that drive this democracy. We must be that inspiration so that every one of our babies know they are worthy and they are enough. CTA, it is our responsibility to lift up our voices, proudly stand in our power, and demand that our babies get what they need when they need it. CTA, this is our time. Do you hear me? It is our time. It is our responsibility. This is our democracy, and we will not let it go. We will not stand. We will not stand. We will not stand for this democracy to go down. I know you are with me. You, CTA, are always my inspiration. Thank you so very much for all you do every single day. I love you. Thank you.